Okay, so now we know what enzymes are. We need to learn how to name and classify them. So the first thing is naming enzymes. The name of the enzyme is going to give you information about the reaction they catalyze or the reactant they act upon. So for example, sucrase is an enzyme that hydrolyzes sucrose. So it does something to sucrose. That's the reactant it acts upon. And so we're going to add ase to the end of this to show that it's an enzyme. An oxidase, again, you see that ASE ending, is going to do an oxidation reaction. Dehydrogenase is going to do a dehydrogenation reaction. So in general, enzymes end in ase. I'm going to tell you right now, the majority of what we will do, everything we will do will end in ase. There are enzymes that don't end in ase in special cases, but in general, ASE is the ending for enzymes. So it's pretty easy to name enzymes. However, we also need to categorize enzymes. So there's 6 kind of families or categories of enzymes. The first one is an oxidoreductase. So you see in this word, we have oxido, that sounds like oxidation, and then reductase, which sounds like reduction. So this general family of enzymes is responsible for oxidation or reduction reactions. So it's easy based off of the name. Oxidoreductase, oxidations and reductions. Okay, and then we also have transferases. They transfer chemical groups between 2 compounds. So literally just taking one thing and moving it to the next. It could be a chlorine atom, it could be a hydroxide, something like that. It could be a whole group like a nitro group or something like that. Even things that we haven't learned about yet. If it says transfer, if it's one group transferring to the other, then it's going to be a transferase. Let's underline transfer. Then we also have hydrolases. These are enzymes that do hydrolysis reactions. So breaking up sugars, those would be hydrolases. The one above that we saw, sucrase, hydrolyzes sucrose, that would be a hydrolase, doing a hydrolysis reaction. Lyases. So this one's the first one that's a little bit uncommon in terms of hydrolases do hydrolysis. Lyases seems a little bit, we don't know what a something is. So what this is it adds or removes groups with double bonds. And so there's no hydrolysis happening. So if there's a double bond and you're adding something to it, like an addition reaction, that would be a lyase. Or if you're doing the opposite, like a dehydration reaction, when you take like water and you eliminate it and form a double bond, those are going to be lyases. So the key thing with these are going to be the double bonds or addition reactions. We have isomerases, which converts between isomers. So this could be enantiomers, it could be diastereomers, it could be constitutional isomers. Anything where you change from one isomer to another is an isomerase. And then the last one is ligases. So ligases stands for ligation reactions. Ligating means just making a new bond. So like one thing attaching to another is a ligation type thing. So anytime you hear like this, just a new bond is forming, nothing like transferring or anything like that, just a new bond forming, that would be a ligase. So let's do a couple problems based off of our new knowledge of naming and classifying. What is the name of the enzyme that hydrolyzes lipids? How would you categorize this enzyme in terms of the list above? So if I'm going to hydrolyze lipids, my enzyme name I would give it is a lipase. So I'm going to just take lipid and I'm going to change the end of the name to ACE. And then I would categorize this because it's a hydrolysis enzyme. It would be a hydrolase. What reaction would an aminotransferase enzyme catalyze? So a transferase is transferring one group to another. So, and then amino is describing what kind of group is being transferred. So I would say that it's a transfer of amino groups. Okay, and then the last one, this is a practice one. So I think you guys could try these on your own and see what you come up with, and then go through the answers with me as well. So I'm going to go through, we're just matching. I'm going to go through A, B, C, D, E, F, and then match to the names there. So this first one, RNA polymerase, transfers nucleotides to growing strands of RNA. So let's look for keywords. We don't know what any of this means yet, right? We might kind of know what RNA is just based off of learning about our vaccine for the COVID pandemic, but RNA polymerase. So none of that really gives me any clues to anything, but transfers nucleotides. So I have that key word here, transfers, meaning that this is going to be a transferase. Okay, lactate racemase catalyzes interconversion between D and L lactate. Okay, so catalyzes interconversion. So already I have a little bit of a hint. Interconversion, so we're going back and forth between two things. D and L lactate, those are just enantiomers of one another. So this would be an isomerase. We're going between two different isomers of the same molecule. Okay, alcohol dehydrogenase converts alcohol to aldehydes or ketones. So I don't really see, converts is really the only action verb here. So that doesn't give me hints as to what we're doing. However, alcohols going to aldehydes, I know is an oxidation reaction. Alcohols going to ketones, again, is an oxidation reaction. So this is going to be an oxidoreductase. Okay, tRNA synthetase forms bonds between amino acids and tRNA. So this one's a little tricky. We are forming new bonds. Forming new bonds. That is what we said were the keywords with a ligase. Remember, we're ligating, meaning we're forming new bonds. Okay, lysozyme hydrolyzes glycosidic bonds in the cell wall. Again, we have a nice keyword, hydrolyzes. Anytime you see that, it's going to be a hydrolase. We only have one left, but let's make sure it fits. Dehydratase forms a double or triple bond via removal of water. So if we're removing water to form a double bond, or we're even the opposite of this, which is not the question, but if we're adding water to a double bond, that would be a lyase. Remember, lyases are the ones that deal with double bonds.